We're here because Marcus' kids go to school with our kids.
And also, Marcus, I like to think, is a good friend of ours, or we're a good friend of his. But his shows tend not to be, I was going to say archetypal fashion shows, as if I'm someone who goes to fashion shows, and I don't.
You go to some
But I looked at
fashion
one
shows.
once in a magazine. I said, I don't think I'd like to go to that. However, Marcus Wainwright doesn't show his clothes in a way that I find associated with Fashion Week. You feel like you're going to an art event or a dance or a concert or a film. He's a true creative in that sense. He combines so many mediums and makes it an event as opposed to a show. And that sometimes you forget you're looking at the clothes and you're swept away by another experience, because he's kind of hell-bent on it being an incredible experience, which they usually are.
Agreed. It has such a New York vibe to it. It's like that perfect version of being wearable but still cool and very city and very New York. And but like also hearing him talk about how he went to all those factories and researched the denim, and he really means it and he can back it up. He's very cool.
I think it strides a number of things. I look at Rag and Bone possibly as someone from the UK, and you see very urban clothes, sometimes with a real kind of hint of like old school Britain, like there's a flash of it or a touch of it, and you kind of go, he can span a number of elements within kind of one look sometimes.
He designed something for us that we wore at the Met Ball one time, and he did, like, we both wore sort of, well, you wore a kilt that he designed, but I wore that beautiful long like coat with those big brooches, which felt kind of old English kind of
morning coat.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Tails.
Yeah, tails. Yeah.
Just so you know.
What projects do we have coming up?
Well, I have a reimagining of Perry Mason for HBO that I've just wrapped. Yes, HBO have taken the Perry Mason what was I saying, books, and reimagined them and kind of, and we've HBO-ified Perry Mason. It's not the Perry Mason your parents knew, so that'll be out in June.
As a guy, not every, especially as like a corn-fed Texas guy, not every like brand fits well on you. And I feel like this one, I get compliments every time I wear Rag and Bone. So. Tom is the man. It's hard to say enough nice things about him. He's he's a friend, he's a mentor, he's a cheerleader, he's the best boss I've ever had. He's the greatest. Very, very, very soon. I talked to Zoe and Katie, who's the writer, last night, and I think we are making. I think we are in the final stages of figuring out the exact time that we're shooting this, and it's going to be very soon. So I'm very happy with where everything is, and again, getting to be back in the trenches with Zoe is going to make me so happy. She's the greatest.
Yep. Oh, that's you. And then would you just say you set your like a pilot and an actor. It's insane. Like when you're gonna be an actor. Yeah, I mean, again, being a part of the Navy and getting to be in the trenches with these real heroes and sort of walk along and talk with those guys.
Not that jacket, right? Yes, sir. Nice.
Yeah, really. So I just do a lot of traveling this way. I've never really gone that way before. Tokyo's incredible. Because
I think it's terribly dangerous for an artist to fulfill other people's expectations. I think they generally produce their worst work when they do that. And the other thing I would say is that if you feel safe in the area that you're working in, you're not working in the right area. Always go a little further into the water than you feel you're capable of being in. Go a little bit out of your depth. And when you don't feel that your feet are quite touching the bottom, you're just about in the right place to do something exciting.